This episode is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful website and grow your brand.
That wasn't living! That was just not dying! There's a difference.
Dad, of course, is scared. They are so focused on risk that they have no room for reward.
It's totally believable family drama.
You can't keep me inside forever!
Eve knows we need something new. And something new is Guy.
She leaned out to touch it, and she flew.
Guy is nothing but curious. Guy is resourceful. Guy is intelligent. Guy assesses what went wrong and then regroups and does it better the next time.
Right.
And that's why he's more evolved.
What would Guy do? What would Guy do? What would I do?
Hello and welcome to Cinema Therapy. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist who loves movies. This is
Alan Seawright, a professional filmmaker who needs so much therapy.
And so do the CROODS. Fortunately, I'm here to provide movie family therapy.
Licensed movie family therapist.
Yeah, that's
what
not
LMFT stands for.
No, but I love that you keep trying to figure that out. Don't tell him. He doesn't read the comments anyways.
Luscious mammalian.
Lie down before you hurt yourself.
So this is a story of a family who lives in fear of the new.
This is true.
And so how they protect themselves is just sticking to what they've always known, which works to a point, and then when it doesn't work, it really doesn't work. Like so.
Tonight we'll hear the story of Crispy Bear. A long time ago, this little bear was alive. She was alive because she listened to her father and lived her life in routine and darkness and terror. So she was happy. Crispy had one terrible problem. She was filled with curiosity. Yes. And one day, while she was in a tree, the curious little bear wanted to climb to the top. And no sooner than she climbed to the top, she saw something new and died. Yes, her last moments of terror still frozen on her face.
Same ending as every day.
I get it, Dad. I get it. I will never do anything new or different.
Good man, Thunk.
This all comes from a loving place. Well, actually, I take that back. Some of it comes from a loving place. A lot of it comes from
a fearful place.
A fearful place.
Yeah.
And the real world equivalent of this is parents who, because they care about their kids and they're afraid of the world out there, try to control, try to contain, instead of the healthy alternative, which is how do I encourage curiosity with intelligence and
With boundaries.
with boundaries
Yeah.
and like going about things the smart way, right? And he's just like, no, cut it off. Have you seen our cinema therapy website?
You know, I have, and it was so easy to build and customize using Squarespace.
Squarespace has tons of templates and layouts to choose from with their new guided design system, Squarespace Blueprint.
So once we found one that worked really well as a starting point for us,
It was so easy to customize.
so easy, way easier than surviving a swarm of vampire birds.
They have built-in visual design tools so we can make it our own brand and style.
As stylish as those fish shoes that Guy gave to Thunk, am I right?
Right, you are, Alan. Squarespace has optimized SEO tools to help you show up more often and to more people in web searches.
You can also connect your social and multimedia accounts so your website can function as a hub for everything you do online.
Like how ours is linked to YouTube, Patreon, our merch stores, and more.
They also offer client invoicing
Flexible customer payments.
and custom merch so you can grow your brand and company.
So whether you need to build a website for your cave painting art gallery,
Or your new line of coral reef themed footwear.
or to promote your tar pit themed escape room,
Sticky.
it is. And we don't charge extra for that.
Squarespace will work for you, and you won't spend months stuck designing a website.
You know they didn't have internet during the Paleolithic period, right?
Check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch,
Go to squarespace.com/cinematherapy and use code
Cinema Therapy.
to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Eep. You'll never believe it. I found something new.
New's a big problem.
The kill circle.
Eep, stay inside the family kill circle.
It wasn't bad.
New is always bad.
No, he was nice.
What? Excuse me? He?
Well, I thought he was a warthog, but then he turned into a boy.
Strange. Usually it's the reverse.
Eve's got a boy hog, Eve's got a boy.
There was a boy. Watch, okay? I'm gonna call him. What is wrong with you?
It was dangerous.
It was beautiful.
New is never good.
Nope.
That's the whole mentality. And something I've reflected on a lot, the more I interact with people from all walks of life, is I don't care who your group is or who your tribe is. You think it's the other tribe that does this, but so does yours.
Sure.
Not everybody in the tribe, but like you will find pockets of this type of thinking of our way is the right way. Anything new, like it has to be challenged, discarded. And that closed-mindedness keeps us from evolving, which is why setting this with our cave family is such a smart play, because they're not evolving, they're staying stuck. And in order to evolve, they're going to have to leave behind the way they've always done things. But they're not ready to do that because they're convinced this is what helps us to survive and thrive. But it's driving a wedge between Eep and her father especially.
Right.
But it's starting to break apart the family at the cracks. We are predisposed as people to hone in and perceive things as dangerous. We remember the things that are threats. Like if you're in a situation and there's 100 things that you could pay attention to, if one of them seems threatening, that's what you focus in on.
How many of you remember the scariest thing in your life versus the normalest thing? Like, what's the normalest thing that ever happened to you?
Right. So when they say new is always bad, what they don't realize is new is often fine, but we remember when new was bad.
Yes.
Like that, and so that becomes confirmation bias. Unfortunately, then, the thing that has kept us alive is going to hurt us when we need new in order to survive because our circumstances change. So this is a situation where the family would run and hide in a cave, but there is no cave.
Nope.
And they would form a kill circle, but what's a kill circle going to do against this?
I love that in the sound design there's a swarm of bees in there.
Uh-huh. And he says kill circle, that's literally not going to do a damn thing. And Eep knows we need something new. And the only person she knows who does something new is Ryan Reynolds, aka Guy.
He certainly knows how to market things in a new and exciting way.
Even though it's all fake and the threat isn't real, I still feel the tension of the scene.
Oh, it's very tense.
Family's never seen fire before, but fire is what saves them.
A big part of the reason you're feeling so much tension in that scene, Alan Silvestri wrote the score.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Legend.
There you go.
So right after this, the family is now curious about fire because fire seems good. Fire saved them.
Sure.
So they're curious, and then it immediately burns them. I mean, it's not subtle.
It's what fire does.
But the fire burns them, and then they start like a whole field fire, and they do a bunch of stupid crap with the fire. And this could reinforce, in fact, it does reinforce, the familial belief that new is bad, new is dangerous, and curiosity will get you killed.
Right.
No, don't eat it. It's new.
But it's actually not curiosity, it's taking action without sufficient information.
Right.
Because Guy has all sorts of wisdom that he could impart to them, because Guy is nothing but curious, and he has survived on his own this whole time. So he represents progressive thought, which they're pretty damn close to. But in order to survive, they have to adopt some of his ways.
Once upon a time, there was a beautiful tiger. She lived in a cave with the rest of her family. Her father and mother told her, "You may go anywhere you want, but never go near the cliff, for you could fall."
And die. Good story.
Here, I'll get it.
When no one was looking, she'd go near the cliff. For the closer she came to the edge, the more she could hear, the more she could see, the more she could feel. Finally, she stood at the very edge. She saw a light. She leaned out to touch it. Then she slipped.
And she fell.
And she flew.
Where did you...
Grug.
Tomorrow.
So, what if instead of falling, you fly?
Yeah.
The entire family way of thinking has been you will fall, you will fall, you will fall, you will die. And in a very literal sense, if you walk up to a cliff and just go to the edge, you will fall and die.
Sure, yeah.
Right? So Grug is right. But Guy is not talking about something literal. He's talking about something that they haven't really considered before. They are so focused on risk that they have no room for reward.
Yep.
Guy doesn't go into dangerous situations by the seat of his pants and somehow magically survive. Guy is resourceful, Guy is intelligent, Guy assesses what went wrong and then regroups and does it better the next time.
Right.
And that's why he's made it so far, and that's why he's more evolved, and he's living a fuller life because they're just stuck in the cave, and he's freaking seeing the world. And he is opening them up to something, and Dad, of course, is scared. He's scared because he loves his family, and he's scared that these new ideas are going to hurt them, but he's also scared of losing his place. I am the protector, I'm the one they look to, and what if I'm replaced?
It's totally believable family drama. The other thing I wanted to point out is this scene does a great job of, you get that Spielberg moment of the look up in awe, right? Mm-hmm. And the way you earn that is you block and stage the scene. You've got Guy telling the story, but he's not on the same level as them. He's up on a little platform.
So they can look up at him.
So that they're looking up at him, he's looking down at them. So while he's telling the story, he's in a position of power, they're in a position of less power. But then when he says she flew, there's a slight crane up and they're looking up at him and following that move up as he goes to soar, and you get that Spielberg moment.
Okay, now you can look.
Also, this bizarro world where there's like coral reefs in the desert.
They're still there.
Where are my feet?
Oh,
Oh, really heavy.
really? Thank you.
Hey! Wait! Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Oh, okay. She's up.
Velcro
I'm good.
set.
I'm good.
Oh, this shoe's great. Where do you get these ideas?
Aha! I'm calling it a brain. I'm pretty sure it's where ideas come from.
Dad, I don't have a brain.
You've gotten along just fine without brains till now. Cavemen don't need brains. We have these. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Ideas are for weaklings. Now, let's get to that mountain.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I love those.
Don't eat my feet.
What follows is a montage of Guy teaching the family critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Because in the past, it's been forage, hunt, hide. If it's not something that we can do quickly and mitigate the risk, then we're just not going to do it.
Right.
And Guy's whole philosophy is there's so much more you can experience and enjoy if you'll use your brain. Mm-hmm. And what they don't realize is they have them. They just don't use them.
Right.
Dad, I don't have a brain.
I love in that scene that you get one of the few glimpses of just full-blown Emma Stone in that scene when she collapses on him and he's like, "You're so heavy." And she says, "Thank you."
Yeah.
The animator like watched the tape of Emma Stone recording that and was just like, okay. Like, I'm just going to basically roto that in.
I also love when she screams, and you think she's screaming because something's eating her feet, but she's like a girl with shoes. I love them. That's really funny.
Playing to a stereotype, but there's kind of a reason for the stereotype, let's be honest.
Tale as old as time.
You have to stop worrying for all of us.
It's my job to worry. It's my job to follow the rules.
The rules don't work out here.
They kept us alive.
That wasn't living. That was just not dying. There's a difference.
Arga, everyone, you have to listen to me.
We would be dead if we listened to you. We have to follow Guy now.
Uh-oh.
Guy.
Guy?
Run.
Man, there's a lot going on in that scene that I want to talk about. But the first thing, just right off the bat, is that, like, this is a fairly realistic world, right? There's not a ton of, like, sort of old cartoon, like, squash and stretch and, like,
I mean, it's very
cartoon physics.
Yeah, in terms of the physics, it's realistic. People fall when they would fall. They bounce off of things when they bounce off of things. Yeah.
The light behaves, correctly, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I love that they were just like, nope, it's Wile E. Coyote. Like, pop up into the air, sit there for a while, get a great scream from Ryan Reynolds. Who knew he could do that?
And then fall.
And then, wonderful.
If I'm doing family therapy with all of them right now,
Yeah.
Eep is pointing out something that is technically true. If we listened to you, we would be dead. We have to follow Guy now.
Right.
She's saying this in an attempt to wake her father up, but what she's really doing is insulting her father. Because even though what she's saying is true, it's not complete. The fact is, what her dad is saying is also true. The rules have kept us alive.
Yeah, I kept you alive for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Guys kept you alive for this long.
And by failing to acknowledge that, by failing to acknowledge the complexity of it, she's slapping her dad in the face. Not meaning to.
Right.
But he really feels like Guy turned my family against me. And poor Guy, he's like, I was just trying to help, And so what I would advise Eep to do is, listen, take a moment, because nothing has to be said right this second. If your dad's trying to say, we need to march, we need to leave, say, Dad, we need to take a few minutes and consider. And then have the conversation where you honor what your father has done, what he's sacrificed, what he's taught you, how it has brought you this far. And then acknowledge, but this is as far as it's going to take us. We need new information, we need new ideas, we need new blood to help us move forward. And that's the advice that I would give Eep. And the advice that I would give Grug is, dude, there's part concern for your family's safety, but there's a whole lot of pride here. Mm-hmm. Because you know that Guy has helped your family to stay alive.
Yep.
And you don't like it because it's a threat to your position. If you truly value the good of your family and putting that first, you got to let go of the rest of it and just do what's best for the family. And he doesn't need to replace you. You just need to work with him.
Stop struggling.
No!
Grug, stop!
No one gets out of this. Believe me. I know.
Belt has heard this story before.
Your
Family. Yeah.
sorry.
I was little when it happened. The last thing my parents told me was, don't hide. Live. Follow the sun. You'll make it to tomorrow.
You followed the light. My daughter is a lot like you.
No. She's like you. She loves you, but always forgets to say it. Just like you forget to tell her.
I guess I was just busy keeping them all alive.
It's okay. That's what dads do.
As a dad, that hits hard.
Yeah.
As a dad or as a mom or as a parent, how much time you want to teach your kids right, and you want to make sure they feel loved, and you want to spend all the time with them and make all the memories, and so much of your time and energy is just like putting bread on the table, keeping the lights on, making sure they're taken care of,
Keeping them from dying.
yeah, and then keeping them from dying, because when they're little they don't have the best judgment.
How many of your kids tried to run out in the street and die?
All of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love what Guy's parents told him. Don't hide, live. Right? Go towards the sun, you'll make it to tomorrow. And this is the first time that Grug is actually considering why Guy is the way he is. This is yet another fantastic example of the power of perspective taking. When somebody has an opposing view, our natural instinct is to see that as a threat. Why? Because our natural instinct is to see almost everything as a threat until proven otherwise. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of the movie. We want to keep ourselves safe. The people that we love, we want to keep them safe. And so we treat other ideas or other people as, this is dangerous.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate thing is we deprive ourselves of ideas, wisdom, and knowledge that could serve us to live happier. I mean, when he engages in perspective taking with Guy, it's the first time that he goes, oh, not a threat, just different. Mm-hmm. And maybe different and new isn't scary or bad. It can be good and helpful, which is what happens when they get out of the dang tar pits and they start to work together.
You did good.
And the simple fact is that change is uncomfortable, growth is uncomfortable, staying the same seems more comfortable in the short term, but just like this family discovers, you stay the same, and it's going to cost you and hurt you.
Yep.
Wait. You surprised me today. Lunkhead.
Which is honestly the whole thing, like the whole idea behind therapy, is as we grow and evolve, we can integrate what's good and what serves us. Still alive. Integrate what's good and what serves us, but create something new that also serves
To
us.
say to you, I need to fix everything, and I don't have time.
I can fix it.
This works good. What do you call it?
I was thinking of calling it a hug. Because it rhymes with Greg. But, you can change it if you want.
No. I like hug.
So the thing about evolving and adapting, let me see here, is when you're stuck in survival mode, you don't have time to thrive.
Right.
And actually connecting, actually bonding, perspective taking, expressing affection, there's a difference between living and not dying.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to actually live is to not die successfully enough to have time and energy and bandwidth to live.
To live.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's why we need to grow and evolve and learn from each other's ideas. And I love what after this when he's in the cave and he's like trying to think and he's like pushing his head together, you know? My favorite bit of that is when he goes,
What would Guy do? What would Guy do? What would I do?
looking to other sources is helpful just for ideas, for things you've never considered. But the ultimate answers come from within you. And that's what good therapy is, by the way, is not going to a therapist and just having the therapist tell you what to do, right?
Yeah, that's not good therapy.
No, what would my therapist do? What would my therapist tell me to do? It's like, what would I do? What the therapist does is help me to open up new ways of thinking.
Because give you tools to make your own decisions, to come up with your own ideas, to do all of that yourself.
Because what Guy did, if Guy's the family therapist, which he kind of is he teaches the family how to think critically and how to problem solve. Mm-hmm. But then he doesn't do it for them or solve their problems for them. And that's what's empowering for every single member of this family. And then they go from dependence to interdependence. And it's beautiful.
This was really, really delightful. Big surprise, DreamWorks made a good movie.
Yeah. Sorry that I've been drinking my Pixar cup this whole time, DreamWorks guys. You're also great.
Well, we need to go visit DreamWorks, and then you can get a DreamWorks cup.
Yeah, no, that's on you, actually.
Wow.
Invite us to DreamWorks, and I'll get a mug there.
Yeah, we'll come to Glendale.
I'll go get a hydro flask. That's fine.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
Seriously, though, we would come.
So until next time.
What is this stuff that saves you from my punches?
What would Guy do? What would Guy do? What would Guy do? What would Guy do? What would I do? And watch movies. Shout out and thank you to our patrons who get exclusive episodes, commercial-free extended director's cuts, and a bunch of content and not content, films and comedy.
We don't make content.
Don't do content. Created by CT Studios, folks like
Kelly Herney.
Tanner Enman.
Or Hierney, maybe? Audrey O.
Ooh, this is a good one. Adriana Hotwalker. Hotwalker.
Hotwalker.
Ooh.
She's a model. She strets her stuff on the catwalk.
Yeah, next.
Arena Hicks.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Love
Go
you.
to our Patreon.
Sorry about the growl, but not sorry because I do it really well.
Whoa.